Dave, we're over here at the Jägermeister Workbench like
Yes, we
every
are.
week, and I gotta tell you, I love to talk about snook. So
Well,
take it and run, baby.
I get to be the editor of Marlin Magazine, so the blue marlin has to be my favorite fish, but my real favorite fish is the snook. I love to catch snook. I don't get to catch them near as much as I'd like, but if I got my chance to go catch any fish, I'd be going snook fishing. So.
All right, sounds like a Sportsman's Adventure episode to me.
Exactly,
I'm
sounds
gonna
like it.
officially
I caught my
invite you.
first snook on a bucktail jig, a white bucktail jig, which is, apropos because these, fish are eating white bait. That's what their favorite bait is, either a shrimp or a little white fish, a croaker, a pilchard, whatever it is, and anything that mimics that, from a bucktail jig to a mirror lure, any of the small little fish lures. If you're going to be using a lure, that's what you want to pick up. A nice shiny lure. A lot of guys will tell you, when you first get to a spot and you want to find some snook, pick the shiniest thing in your box and rip it, and try to see what's there and get them up and going. And that's really how you can get a hold of a lot of big snook. Jig fishing, I fished with Mr. Ronnie Houston and Jeffrey Page. They love to use that jig and the soft plastic
chartreuse head, hook up.
Yep, they love to
jig
use
head.
that. And Ronnie's always saying, you're the only action, man. You gotta work it. You gotta work it. At the same time, in certain places, you don't really want to work them. There's like when you're fishing in the inlet, you want to just slowly bounce them on the bottom.
Right.
Especially jig fishing or even plug fishing with a big lipped plug like a Bomber Long A or something like that.
Right.
And you're ripping it. You want it to be bouncing off the bottom and off the rocks. If you're not losing a lot of baits, if you're not losing plugs, and if you're not losing jigs, you're not doing it right. You need to get down on the bottom and bounce it, especially when and you want to be fishing at the peak flow. You don't want to wait until it's slack tide. They're not going to be eating much when they're slack tide. They're an ambush predator. They like for the tide and the current to bring prey to them. So they're always going to be trying to find a little eddy, a little place where they can stay out of the current, but where they have access to all the stuff coming by.
Yeah, like a dock pylon.
A dock pylon, a big bridge abutment, at Sebastian Inlet. You get behind on a big incoming tide, you get behind the things and you catch a croaker on the bottom, and you put a croaker on this rig right here, a nice 4/0 Senator type reel. This one's a little customized with a 30-pound braid and a 100-pound, up to 100-pound even leader. Because if you hook a nice big one around the bottom of Sebastian Inlet Bridge,
Big circle hook, strong.
Big circle hook. You're going to get in those pilings, and he's going to try to get you off. And you got to have good heavy leader. Now, when you're out on the flats and stuff, you're going to catch the smaller ones usually. I like to, I've always got a chug bug on there.
You're the chug bug king.
I like to have a chug bug on there.
You like making noise.
I do, and not only that, this is a lure that I picked up in Australia. It's a Lee's lure, and it's got a huge cupped face on it. It's a barramundi lure, which is very similar to a snook. And I've caught quite a few fish on those.
See,
I try not to show those around.
You keep secrets.
Show those around too much. But if you get you a general bass rod, a 7-foot spinning rod with 20-pound braid and some 20-pound fluorocarbon, that's going to be your regular. Your snook rod for nighttime fishing and whatnot. It's only when you start fishing around bridges and heavy current that you're going to need to get up to that 30-pound braid and real heavy leaders, because a 30-pound snook is going to pull. A 30-pound snook in a haul butt current is going to pull twice as hard, and you got to have a lot of heavy drag. You pretty much lock that thing up to pull them out of there. Some of the fellows I watch that do that. They go down, they got a big boat pole, and you're thinking, this guy's going fishing for bull sharks.
Right.
He's not. He's catching huge snook right at his feet.
And tightening down the drag.
The leader never really even gets off. He's probably 100-pound tight. Whoa. Right to him, and it's just like, it's something to see. It's big fun, and especially when I catch them, because then it's fun to eat it.
It sounds like spillway.
They're delicious.
Spillway fishing
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, there you go.